Cream. Potatoes. Cows.
Jersey.
Bergerac.
Boo Foons, mystery investigators.
Welcome to the Boo Foons Mystery Investigators. I'm Dan.
I'm Steve.
And today we are going to Jersey. Yes, we're going to look at the Channel Islands. Now, for full transparency here, I was doing some research into mysteries of the Channel Islands and found that there's that many stories that I think we're going to break these into multiple episodes, and we're just going to look at Jersey today and my favourite stories from Jersey. Not all of the stories, but my favourite ones.
Can we do like really bad ones next week? Do your least favourite top 10 after this.
On the southeast coast of Jersey, where the tide pulls back like a curtain, the rocks shine slick and black under the moon, there is a place the old islanders feared. A place called Rocqueberg, the Bright Rock. They would raise storms by singing and dancing, and would demand from returning fishing boats the 13th fish of their catch. These were the courtiers, the Friday night witches, who gathered on the rocks to summon tempests. They danced in circles, their shadows twisting across the stone. They sang in a language other than Gerays, which is the language of Jersey apparently, Gerays.
What? I thought it was English. I've seen Bergerac.
Yeah.
Didn't need subtitles for it.
Well, it is English now, but this is like the old language. And they watched the sea for boats returning home. If a fisherman miscounted his catch, if he refused tribute, if he dared to sail past without offering the 13th fish, the witches would drag his boat toward the rock, splintering it against a reef. The cliffs above echoed with their screeching. The waves rose unnaturally fast, and the bright rock glowed faintly in the moonlight, a beacon for the damned.
Can I just check in? Was that just the 13th fish or every 13th fish?
It just says the 13th fish, so I don't know if it is the 13th fish, or if it's every 13, or if it's just the 13th.
Can you imagine if you were just a great fisherman but really bad at maths? Yeah, just take this one. That's not the 13th, you're double dead.
What if you're coming back and you've only got 12? Do you end up having to go back again to go and fish another fish?
You're not allowed back until you catch that fish.
Yeah. But yes, that's a nice starting point for the folklore of Jersey, the witches of Rocqueberg. I thought that's a nice way to start this. Because they're a bit like the sirens, aren't they, in Greek mythology, where they're trying to lure you in, only this one it's for a fish.
They want your fish.
You. Yeah. Not just any fish, the 13th fish.
It's like old-fashioned inland revenue.
Yeah.
HM Revenue and Customs, give us your 13th fish. You can't give me a fish, you're dashed against those rocks.
Now, Jersey itself is an island where the sea dominates everything. So the economy, the culture, the landscape, the weather. But most cultures based on maritime have different stories. Like they have mermaid stories, sea spirits, drowned lovers, all of these different things. Jersey, in fact, not really any of that. They don't have any of the maritime sort of legends. They tend.
But they've got all the water.
Yeah,
You've got all the water in.
So there's very, very little. Like you had the witches that lived on a rock, but a lot of the supernatural world of Jersey, despite the water and the fact that it's an island, it is the whole thing. But that's not where the supernatural lore is. Most of it is fairies, witches, old stones, ghosts, and one kelpie-like mermaid.
That's it. No
That's it.
Sea monsters.
So no real sea monsters. It's just your sort of typical British/European supernatural world. That's the bit. So there's the conclusion before we even explored it, is it's a bit weird because there's not a lot to do with the sea.
I've seen there's a story. I haven't seen the story, but apparently I found one which I haven't bothered to read because it means reading. It's called William and the Sea Sprites. Apparently there was a shape-shifting sea sprite who tries to drown a young man called William by disguising himself as a white stallion, and then he rode the horse, and then it turned to stone when struck with mistletoe, and the stone horse, it's rubbish, forget it, pretend I didn't read that. I don't know, it made no sense at all. The more I try to read it, the less sense it made.
That's the one that's a bit like a kelpie, but it's a mermaid, but it's not. It's a kelpie, but it's not, and it's that's the closest we sort of get, really. Is that one that you're reading there?
Yeah, and this one says it's a male. No.
Yeah, a merman.
This doesn't make any sense at all. So it was a merman who wanted to drown. And now it says her sweetheart William.
Yeah.
So this is very 2024, isn't it?
So, William and the Sea Sprite. There was once a young woman, Anne-Marie, who liked to skim stones at Bonne Nuit Bay. A sea sprite had noticed her and wanted her for his wife. Determined to win her, the sea sprite plotted to eliminate her sweetheart, which was William. Okay. The next day, William discovered a magnificent white stallion in the stable, which he intended to show Anne-Marie. Later that night, a dream warned him of danger, so he picked some mistletoe and took it with him riding. As he rode down the beach towards Anne-Marie, the stallion revealed its true form as a sea sprite and charged towards the sea to drown him. William fought back with the mistletoe, turning the horse into stone, which is now visible in Bonne Nuit Bay.
That's the first time I've heard mistletoe being used as a weapon, apart from at Christmas for the unwanted kiss.
Well, I wonder if that has a little bit of French influence, because mistletoe is mentioned, it's in one of the King Arthur stories, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but King Arthur, a lot of the King Arthur legends are a mix of French and British stories sort of melded together, and mistletoe has been used as a folklore type weapon and is mentioned in that. And I think there's certain areas of the world where they use mistletoe as stakes. Also, isn't that what they used? You know, when we were on honourable mentions, isn't that what they used for that vampire? Wasn't that mistletoe, or was that something else?
I can't remember. I think it was a hammer.
Yeah. But I know
it was something weird like that, wasn't it? It was something weird like that.
But I know mistletoe in folklore and witchcraft, definitely across Europe, is that it is a repellent for something. And I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
It doesn't look that threatening when you got it over the door. Or when it's just in a big bunch in a tree. It doesn't look that scary. I can't see how you can stick that in the heart of a vampire. Or beat a sea spirit into a stone statue.
It comes from the Norse mythology story of the death of Balder. So god Balder was prophesied to die. So his mother Frigg, who is the goddess of love, extracted an oath from all living things and elements never to harm him. However, she didn't look at mistletoe. Therefore, Loki exploited this by making an arrow from mistletoe, which then he used to kill Balder. And then the reason why mistletoe is a symbol of love is because Balder was resurrected, so Frigg declared mistletoe a symbol of love and vowed to bestow a kiss on anyone who passed beneath it. So there you go. That's where the whole mistletoe thing comes from. Anyway, back to Jersey, because there's quite a few things. Now, I said there's not much to do with sea legends and sea stories. Well, here's what I'm going to call the mermaid who never was. Or in the French.
Is that what you're going to call it?
That's what I'm going to call it, because the legend is Petit Plément. So I don't know what it means. I don't speak French. Small something. Probably Little Mermaid. I don't know. Now, they do have mermaids.
Yeah.
Well,
they have
sightings.
One mermaid.
They've had 2 sightings historically. One document says it was from an old man, and he said that he had seen La Sirène, who was half fish and half woman, when he was out fishing one day. And another one, which another man claimed that he had French word, chic-fait à petit blément, which apparently means...
Considering you don't speak French, that's very good. You convincingly sounded French.
I'm doing the very British thing here. I'm just saying what sounds I think are there and saying it with a French accent and hoping people just assume I've got it correct. That's how I
shout it loud and slow.
This is how I managed to blag a French GCSE. You know,
Sorry, French degree, did you say?
GCSE.
Oh, GCSE, that's all right.
Yeah.
My headphone thought you said degree, and that's why.
Yeah, but basically I sat there speaking English the whole time in a French accent. I would very much like to go to the cafe and buy a ham sandwich. And they were like, oh, great, you're brilliant at speaking French.
Has to be French.
And I
string
came
of onions
in,
all around your neck. Yeah, that was.
yeah, and I was waving a white surrender flag at the time. So they definitely knew I was French.
With an accordion under your arm.
Yeah. And then smelly soft cheese going, yeah, I do not like proper cheese. I like this horrible smelly squishy stuff.
I give the French credit for good films.
Every French film I watched has always been weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They're always like the perfume adverts, aren't they, where they don't make sense.
You can always tell a French film because the heroes die at the end. The good guys always die, never happy.
But yeah, anyway, apart from two men in one old document saying they've seen something, looks like a mermaid, that's it.
Was it the same mermaid? Were they together at the seaside on their own at night, then discovered, and they said, we were just looking at mermaids. We're just two old men. We wouldn't be doing anything else apart from looking for mermaids.
Well, it doesn't say whether they were together or not. It says that they're two old men that claimed it when they were speaking to a folklorist. But they're the only mentions. There's no stories, no legends or anything about mermaids apart from these two records of two separate people saying that they've seen one. That's it.
And they were just very likely drunk.
Yeah.
And French at the time, so they probably were on the wine.
So I did say to you there was one that was a bit like a Kelpie. The Bonne Nuit Kelpie. Le Jeva Dugulumi, I think that says.
Le Bergerac.
Yeah, that's my best attempt.
That's more than I do, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. The French are going to hate us for this one.
Luckily, we got no one listening to us from France.
Yeah, true. So with this one, this is the only legend that's based around maritime. So I've said they don't really do that there in Jersey. So two girls go to Bonne Nuit to skip stones and divine their futures. One girl's stone bounces. She'll marry in a few years. The other girl's stone sinks instantly as if plucked down by an unseen hand. The sea begins to bubble. A figure appears on the rock. Her fiancé, home from war. She runs to him. But when she reaches him, she finds herself in the arms of something cold, leathery, and ancient.
Is it the old man who saw the mermaid?
Damn it, you've given away the ending.
So she skipped a stone, hit somebody, and they've decided to come get the revenge on her.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a water spirit disguised as her lover, who dragged her towards the sea, intending to take her to his underwater cave. Her friends screamed, the cliffs echo, and then salvation. The sun breaks over Normandy. The creature flees. Later, the Kelpie returns in the form of a white horse, which is the white horse from the story of William's horse.
So is this a different story, the same story?
It's
so
all
William
part
is
of the same story.
Okay. So William was her fiancé when he did come back from the war. Oh no, she had a different fiancé.
No, so the white horse that's in William's story is apparently the same Kelpie from this story, this lady. Apparently it's the same thing.
Was this Anne-Marie as well? Or was this a different woman?
Well, based on what I found, they're two different stories, but they're saying that it's the same beast because it was in the same location.
That's a bit of coincidence, really. I think it's the same woman. And I think they were drinking with those old men.
Yeah.
What were you doing down on the beach? I was skipping stones. With those old men? Yeah, he was just cold and leathery. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't touch him. He did try to drag me down to his cave, though.
It's how they reckon that Cheval Rock is there, essentially. It's what they explain that as being.
Oh, not just a natural geological formation. It's. Have you seen it? Have you seen the rock? Does it look like a horse?
Well, no.
No. What's it look like to you?
A rock. It
Rock.
looks like a cliff with a rock at the bottom of the cliff. And
Do they
there's
have wine? Do they make their own alcohol on Jersey by any chance? Because it does sound like they do.
there's an old people's home on top of the rock.
Ooh,
Oh, unless I'm looking.
it's that big. No, come on, the horse couldn't be that big.
Unless they've just named it. Oh no, that is that apparently.
Wow.
Bon Nui Bay. So I'm looking at Bon Nui Bay, and I can't see anything that I would convincingly call a horse-looking rock, other than the fact that there's a care home called the Shovel Rock Nursing Home. But anyway, and I will say, although I've done research, I've never actually looked at a map of Jersey until this moment right now. And are you aware that there's a place called Egypt in Jersey?
No, I had no idea. Is it the original Egypt? Was the other one taken from this one?
Ah, you know, I bet that's what they did. I bet they stole. I bet the pyramids were originally on this island.
I bet they were originally a sea creature of some kind that was hit with some mistletoe. Mistletoe? Some...
Yeah. Because you even got Egypt woods there.
Wow.
Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, I got distracted then.
It does sound like they're clutching at straws trying to get something as a tourist attraction, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it looks like it's just an old people's home on top of a cliff now. Right, so let's go on to some fairies. We've looked at fairies and fae before. Now, Jersey's fairies are everywhere. They're in the fields, they're in the caves, they're on the roads, they're even in the place names. They're everywhere. So there are many names that the fairies go by. There are Les Petits Gens, which is the little people.
Okay.
Le Fecho, Dames, Bons Femmes, and Pooks. This is a great episode, isn't it? Just for this French, isn't it? There is also place names that use those, especially the Pokes one, or Pooks, where you got Le Pouquelet, Le Clos de la Pouquelet, Le Pouquelet de Faldu, Le Cru de Failou, Les Pouquelies, and Le Clos de la Petit Pouquelet, which are all names of places and roads, all named after fairies in Jersey.
And the names of sweets from the Haribo range.
They do sound like that, don't they?
They do, don't they?
So the most famous example is St. Brillade's Church, where...
But hang on a second, you said the most... I don't think any of these are famous, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't think
famous in Jersey.
Yeah, the most well-known in Jersey. Okay, is which one, sorry?
St. Brillade's Church, or Brayleeds Church.
Tell me more.
So...
Is it by water by any chance?
Well, there's a whole myth of the fairies moved the church.
God. Okay.
I knew you were going to respond that way somehow.
It's a big church, yeah? How did it... They think... Why... This is stupid, Dan.
Well, the story goes that the workmen dug the foundations of the church, laid the stones and tools ready for the next day work. When they got there the next day, the stones and tools had been moved a mile away on the beach. So they then decide that this cliff top is not the best place for a church because the materials are going to fall down again because the fairies are going to move.
Erosion.
So they then move.
Sure, it wasn't erosion. Maybe that's it. Maybe the cliff just crumbled and fell and it just dropped.
So they move all of the stones and tools back to be near the original site. The next morning, everything had been moved down to the beach again. So they then build the church on the beach.
So let's have it. So
because of fairies, the church is basically on the beach. Apparently it was supposed to be in a different location on top of the hill that's near it, and the fairies moved it. Fairies moved the material, that's why it's now on the beach.
Okay, there's me thinking it was quite a modern building because it doesn't look too old. But apparently the original foundations were built in 1035. It was mentioned in the official charter of 1035, but there were buildings that predated that on that site. So yeah, I can understand why they just forgot where they put it. They didn't
Yeah.
have GPS or anything. Yeah. That's quite an old church though, isn't it, really? It used to be a monastic chapel even before that. So it's quite an old building. But it does look like it's always been there. And it's a really good location.
Yeah, because
Very picturesque. And I personally would have built it there rather than on top of a cliff.
Yeah, well, there you go. The fairies were the best. They decided that.
Well, they were obviously the local council planning committee.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. If you want to know where to build something, what you need to do is go and ask a fairy.
Because it's obviously worked really well because it's been there for over 1,000 years and it still hasn't been washed away. So it's a really good location.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planning permission, get a fairy.
Another fairy story here.
Can't be better than that one. Relocating entire buildings.
Well, this one...
It's not, is it? I can tell by the way you're looking.
Well, these ones are just some very short versions. So apparently there was observed a procession of tiny mourners carrying a small coffin.
Oh,
Because a fairy had died. And when they were looking at the fairies carrying the fairy coffin, a man stopped to open the coffin. And when he looked in the coffin, the tiny fairy looked like him and he saw it as an omen of death.
Oh my God. It's all about me. Tiny fairy. It's just like me, but with wings.
There's a local saying, I will have my horse shod like James Balliax, which comes from the fact that a farmer saw fairies reshoe his horse in silver. So there's the story of James Balliac and his horse's silver shoes because fairies did it in silver. A farmer once saw a cloud of fairies swarming over his house after his children opened a magic book. He found the fairies swarming up and down across his yard. And then they apparently vanished again.
No, never to be seen again.
Yeah, funny that. At the Lavoir des Dames, if any man saw fairies bathing, he would be struck blind.
I'm assuming they bathed in the nude.
Yeah. However, what they actually think that one comes from is women used the pool for bathing, so therefore it was a story that was invented to stop people from looking at the ladies bathing naked.
There's just a load of people walking around with glasses on.
Yep.
That will try. I only just looked a little bit. I know it's not fairies, but did you see the dolmens and menhir stones? Did you see that one? So apparently locals are told to beware of goblins dancing around the stones because if you see one, they will make you dance yourself to death. So if you see a dancing goblin, you will dance yourself to death.
Yep.
This probably explains why it's still got such a small population on Jersey.
I quite like the dragon. The legend of Lehugi Bee. Legend weaves a tale of a fearsome dragon that lived in St. Lawrence and terrorized people all over the island, leaving destruction in its fiery wake. The Seigneur de Hamby, a valiant knight from Normandy, caught wind of this menacing threat and set forth on a heroic quest to confront the beast. The specifics of the battle remain shrouded in mystery, except the courageous knight engaged the dragon in a fierce one-on-one combat, ultimately triumphing by slaying the fearsome creature and severing its head. The knight decided to rest, entrusting his loyal squire to guard him. In a shocking twist of fate, the squire's loyalty crumbled and envy took hold. He murdered his master, buried his body, and returned to Hamby, where he told the wife that the dragon had killed his master and he had avenged his death by killing the beast. He also added that the knight's dying wish was that the squire should marry his wife. One night, as they lay in bed, the squire cried out in his sleep that he had killed his master. The lady immediately brought him to trial, where the squire confessed. She then travelled to Jersey, where a mound was raised in the parish of St. Saviour as a memory. So there you go.
That is an episode of Bergerac. That's how they used to discover the crime was committed. Somebody just used to shout that they did it. Why would you shout out that you killed whoever it was? Was it the squire?
Yep. So he just woke up in the middle of the night and went, I did it! I killed him!
It was a dream. Don't get me executed just for that.
apparently all the old stones across Jersey that are all menhir stones, and some of them do look a little bit like Stonehenge, some of them look like little houses and things, are all apparently entrances to the home of the fairies and sometimes goblins. Depending which group of stones you're looking at, it's either goblins that live there or fairies, who will, as you said, make you dance to death.
Dance to death?
Yeah.
I can't dance, though.
Oh, that's a shame.
What would it make me do? I mean, to be fair, if I got up and just walked around, that's enough to make me feel like I'm going to drop dead at the moment. Maybe walk up the hill, that'd be enough. Do you remember last year we walked up the moors all the way to that pool?
Yes.
On the top of the moors. If I tried to do that this year, I wouldn't be able to do it. I've aged a lot this last year. I don't think I'd do that. Try dancing to death. People do dance to death, though, don't they? There was that. What was it? One of the things we saw, that contagious dancing that happened in that small village somewhere, and suddenly people started dancing. It's like the laughter thing, and everybody started dancing until people died.
Was that when we were looking at green people, and did John tell us that? Or did we find that out in another episode?
One of the things. Yeah.
We've definitely spoken about it in an old episode.
A dancing plague of 1518. There was a mysterious event in Strasbourg where hundreds of people danced uncontrollably for weeks, some dying from exhaustion, strokes, or heart attack. Mass hysteria does happen, though, doesn't it?
It does.
It does happen.
And of course, you had that, was it a medieval punishment where you had to give somebody metal shoes and then set a fire, and they had a place for a fire in the bottom of them, and you set fire to them, and therefore the person would have to dance around. I'm pretty certain I haven't just invented that.
I think you've made that up. But I think out of all the things we've done, that's the least likely thing that's going to be true. So little shoes with fires in them just to make you dance.
I'm pretty certain this is.
Do you remember that medieval punishment where people used to electrocute a plate of metal and make you stand on it?
Right, I've googled it.
They used to make you lick a D-cell battery. Do you remember that one in the medieval days?
I've googled fire shoes metal torture. Right, so it turns out, yes, I am right that there was a practice, and it was called foot roasting.
Okay, where was that? Let me guess, the French?
Ancient Rome.
Oh, okay. A lot older than that.
And then there have been
very creative in ancient Rome.
And then there have been different ones all based around crushing feet and putting feet in special boots and things. But in the Middle Ages,
isn't it now? All it is of feet is on the internet. I don't know why people have got this thing of, maybe that's why people got a foot fetish now, because they knew all the bad things used to happen to them in the old days. It's in our genetic memory that horrible things can happen, so let's just enjoy them. I don't enjoy feet. I don't know what the point is. I know what the point of feet is, because otherwise I'll fall over. But I don't know the point of, you know what I mean.
Somebody once told me, and I don't know if this is made up or not, but this was a man in a pub that told me this.
It's going to be real then, just like every other story we've heard today.
It's going to be real, just like every story of a random man in a pub. That apparently foot fetish comes from back in the days of syphilis and things. And I think it does have links to the French, where therefore the feet were the best thing to use because...
So you wouldn't catch diseases.
Yeah.
Athlete's crutch.
Yeah. But that's what I was once told. That's where it sort of originates from, is the fact that it was the safest place because you couldn't get disease from it.
But like say, athlete scrotum.
Yeah.
Yep.
A verruca on the end.
Verruca knob.
Yeah. Let's go back to Jersey. Let's go back to Jersey.
Do we have to?
Get back on point here.
Well, sorry, no.
Would you like to turn out? Well, we're going to talk about Ghost.
Okay, Ghost.
Yeah. And then we're pretty much there then. The lady of
you said there was hundreds. There was so many stories on the Channel Islands. It would take us weeks to get through this. I thought you said. I think we're going to be through it in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's why we did. This is just Jersey.
This is the Ghost of John Nettles.
This is the Lady of the Viva, or La Dame du Vivi.
Sorry, La Dame du Vivi.
Yep.
Okay.
So
he's not dead. He's 82. That's the age of this episode.
She would reappear, obtain a commitment to marriage, then take him to their nuptial bed at the bottom of the pond. So that's the little bit of the story.
deep? Is it really deep or very shallow? Because it could be quite nice to have a bed just in a pond, but just, as long as you don't have too many flies flying around and you don't expect a frog to come leaping on you in the middle of the night, it could be quite romantic. But if it's deep in the pond, that wouldn't be good.
Well, that's just the overview of the story. Here's the full story. A bride forced into an unwanted marriage drowned herself in a fish pond in a manor in an estate.
Okay, so pretty big fish pond, not one of those little tiny ones.
Big fish pond.
How long would it take you to drown yourself in one of those small fish ponds?
Every year on the anniversary of her death, she returns. She appears as a demure, beautiful maiden. She seduces young men. She convinces them to elope with her and leads them to the pond. She then drags them underwater when rejected. So if the boy rejects her and doesn't elope with her...
What if he doesn't?
Well, no, if he does elope with her, she takes him to the pond and drowns him. Yeah, but if he rejects her and doesn't want to elope, she appears in her decayed form, rotting and dripping, and curses her would-be lover.
So it's lose-lose, is that what you're saying?
Yes, lose-lose.
I mean, the thing is, this is on her anniversary, so she's a fast mover. I have never met a woman who's actually met me and said, the same night, let's elope. I've never met anyone, let alone a woman. No one's ever said that to me. Let's just elope today. Okay, let's just pay a visit to the pond. Does she come back as a woman in white? Because we always found that all the women in white always drowned themselves because they were ditched or something. And they all became women in white ghosts. It's almost a certainty. Why drown yourself in a pond? Sounds like murder to me. I think we need Bergerac for that one. He would solve it.
Well, trying to find where this pond is, it depends on the sort of source you look at. Some of them say it's a pond. Others say it's a lake. But none of them can tell you which lake or which pond. So I reckon what we could do here is we could, you know how you can only move to Jersey if you've got like a business? I've got a business plan. We're going to open a hotel. We're going to dig a pond. We're going to tell everybody that that's the pond. And we're not actually going to tell anybody what the date of the actual ghost is and when the actual date is. What we're going to do is anybody that comes, because we've got a hotel, we know when people are going to check out. And conveniently, the anniversary of the death is the following week or the previous week.
Yeah.
Because if we say it's the following week, they might book for a further week to stay. If we say it's the previous week, then they'll try and rebook the following year for that. And then you go, oh, you missed her. She was out this morning. We could sell it as like ghosty Tinder or something.
It's ghosty Tinder. Right. If I had a property, I mean, I do have a property, so yes, I don't live in a box. Let's say I had a pond, which I do have a pond. Let's say if I knew somebody had drowned themselves and every year they turned up and they would try to drown me in that pond, it wouldn't be long before I filled that pond in.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same evening. That would be the end of her plan. What would she do then?
I don't know.
It's like an episode of Supernatural, isn't it? You burn whatever object it is that keeps the ghost alive. Just fill the pond in, seriously.
Well, on the hunt of this ghost that lives in a pond or sometimes lives in a lake, I've managed to find the ghost bride of Waterworks Valley. So long ago, a bride waited at St. Lawrence's Church to be married, but her groom never arrived. She was so distraught by what happened, she killed herself. Legend says that once a year, a ghostly horse and carriage with a bride inside rides down the valley in search of her disloyal husband.
Okay, that sounds quite boring. Okay, right, here's another thing, right? She was obviously quite hot, right? Because he wanted to marry her. And it does say that she's beautiful when she turns up to kill men. Why did she kill herself? Just because you got dumped once doesn't mean that's the end of the world. There's always, as I say, plenty of fish. Maybe in that pond there was a few more fish, but
I was going through the notes to see if I had anything else to say.
About Jersey.
About Jersey.
There must be something else to say about Jersey.
Well, not really.
How about witches? You didn't talk about witches because that's been a big thing on Jersey.
I did at the start, the witches of Rocqueberg.
Yeah, but that was which, but didn't say that it had a small population of, was it 10,000 people in Jersey? And there was 60 witch trials had gone on in Jersey over the years. So actually quite a lot of the population have been treated as witches.
Well, there is Witches Rock.
Is that just, I thought it was a band.
Does sound like a band, doesn't it? So this eerie place was the meeting place for witches and devil worshippers, and no one in their right mind would go near the place on a Friday night, especially at full moon. On one part of the rock, the cloven hoofprint of the devil is said to be visible, as well as the story of Hubert and Madeline. Another story is, as I said, the Rocqueberg one. So, Hubert and Madeline. Legend tells us that Hubert was engaged to Madeline. He went for long walks during the evenings, and one evening walked towards Rocqueberg Point. He fell asleep next to the witch's rock, but when he awoke, the rock had gone and been replaced by magic wood, with beautiful girls dancing around the trees. Right, when I read that as magic wood, I was expecting it to be a bit of wood, not a wood as in a forest.
Okay.
Yeah, but there we go. It's wood as in
what
forest.
Sort of wood we were talking about there?
Yeah. Well, there's beautiful girls dancing around the trees.
Ooh.
Hubert danced with the girls, and as he left, he promised he would return the following evening. When he got home, he told Madeline about the strange events, and she warned him not to go the next night. But Hubert went anyway. Well, yeah, he's gone, yeah, I'm going to go and dance with some beautiful women. She's gone, don't you dare! If you go, the engagement's off. Don't you dare go. And he's decided to go anyway. Now, Madeline's decided that she's going to tell the priest that she's worried about this. So the priest told her to take a crucifix and follow Hubert. When she reached Rocqueberg, she saw Hubert dancing, but there were no beautiful girls, just ugly old witches. Madeline held the crucifix high above her head and ran towards the witches, who then vanished shrieking, and Hubert collapsed unconscious. He was fine afterwards. He just collapsed. He's fine afterwards. Yeah, and those are the witches, as in the witches of Rocqueberg, which are the ones we have to do. Here we go. You asked earlier. It's every 13th fish.
If you had a good day, can you imagine how long it would take you to dish out all those fish?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Jersey, right, they had a population of about 10,000 people. But between 1560 and 1660, there was 65 trials for witchcraft, 33 executions, 8 were banished, 88% of the accused were women. Apparently it's a really high amount for that amount of people, even in that era, just because there was a real clash between French Catholicism and British Protestantism. This sounds quite brutal. But to say that, they were quite fair. Unlike other places, they did tend to hang the witches first till they were dead, then burn the bodies rather than burning them alive. So they were quite, humanitarian, really. But it's also good to know that your witch trial was made up of a jury of 24 men.
Of course.
Yeah. And if they didn't start with a confession or a parish indictment, either the parish had to say that's a witch or theirs was a confession. They would spend almost a year and a day awaiting trial. Then they would be found guilty, then hung and burned. Yeah, it's so much fun being a witch back then.
Yeah. There is one bit of the story. So we started with the witches of Rocqueberg.
Okay.
Now, there's one little bit of the story which I've deliberately left this right to the end. Okay. Because I think this is brilliant. So, as I said, every 13th fish had to be given to the witches. And if not, you were smashed to pieces on the rocks. Now, one fisherman refused to do it. Instead, he took a starfish from his catch, cut off one of the arms, and threw it at the witches, shouting, "This cross is my passport." It landed amongst the witches in the shape of a crucifix, and they disappeared, never to be seen again.
Well, these days he would have just been arrested for cruelty to, starfish. But can you imagine going up against Dracula with that?
Starfish. Maybe that's the origins of a shuriken.
Yeah, starfish.
Starfish attack.
Oh, and this is something talking about what we used to talk about, healer witches, right? Previous episode, I don't know, what was it? Witchcraft and Satanist Museum? I can't remember, what was it called? Witchcraft and Magic or something. Folklore. Well, there was a woman in 1585.
Oh, it was magic. It was witchcraft and magic.
Visconti. Okay, witchcraft and magic, that's it. So Janine Le Visconti, she was accused of infecting some and curing others. She was a healer and she was targeted, so she was executed for being a witch. So we're obviously talking back to the syphilis again. So we got back onto syphilis. If she'd have stuck with her feet, she'd still be just cause that way she could heal with her foot, and she could heal with her medicine, and that would have saved her being killed for infection. Makes you wonder what's she infecting people with that desired, with being hung and burned. 4 women and a man were executed in November and December of 1585 because they think that they brought the plague to the island. So plague arrived. Let's kill some people. There's so many people dying around here. That's basically like Wicker Man, isn't it? We're talking old, paganism. Something bad's happened. Let's sacrifice somebody. So it's about right with your 88%, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just did it all in one go. It's amazing. How did people even live in houses when they were still burning people because somebody got a cold? I mean, actually, to be fair, there's some places around the world that still does stuff like that. That just don't understand and let's kill somebody because it just makes us feel better.
Because some Scottish bloke who was also the King of England at that point decided, let's kill a load of people because my Bible, that is now my Bible, because everybody has the King James Bible, is the thing that we're going to trial people on. So again, it's a whole thing of people using religion to commit horrible things.
Yes, absolutely.
And funny enough, most religion, especially the Abrahamic ones, the horrible things tend to be towards women.
Well, yes. At least we don't do that anymore. We, as in us atheists, haven't burnt women as witches or for a long time.
And there was me thinking, I could end this episode beautifully with a nice little story.
Of burning people because of the Bibles.
A nice little story about a starfish.
Yeah, that's what you were chuckling about, wasn't it? It's a starfish.
And say, you guys could be stars, and now you've thrown in a load of witches that are being burned.
Let's talk about chocolate starfish. You get those boxes of the very expensive Belgian chocolates at Christmas, the ones that are shiny. They've got the little starfish in there, so you always got to ask for the chocolate starfish.
Oh,
so next time you get the little seashells and starfish and chocolate.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, quite happily reach for that chocolate starfish. At least you only bite one of the legs off rather than chop it off and throw it at some witches. Actually, we should do that. When I come visit you next, let's get one of those little chocolate starfish, bite a leg off and throw it at some witches. When we say witches, we just mean any women who we fancy throwing chocolate at. If you're in Bedford in November and someone throws some chocolate at you, it's us.
Oh, dear.
Then we can finish there on a happy note.
Yeah, there we go. And we've got one of those moments that your lovely wife likes of me just not knowing what to say and what to even respond to you with. I've just gone, yeah.
It's funny because when you start off talking about the actual stories, I don't know what to say. You come up with some of these daft stories, which is like, this is just so silly. And we always end the episode with you not knowing what to say.
Well, I do know that next time we visit the Channel Islands, we'll have to go over to Guernsey.
Brilliant. That doesn't have Bergerac. Right, let's have a look. Any detectives on Guernsey? ATV.
And while Steve searched for detectives on Guernsey in preparation for the next time we visit the Channel Islands, I'm going to say thank you for listening. And remember, do look for us across social media and do give us a like, give us a comment, a share, tell people that we're out there and follow us on them as well. If you're feeling very generous and you want to keep the podcast going and you want to throw some pennies at us, not chocolates, then do look at our Patreon. We've got loads of behind the scenes content and loads of additional bonus things that you may wish to subscribe to. And do look at the website. I will make sure Steve doesn't put pictures of his chocolate starfish on the website alongside this episode. But if you do go to the website, you will be able to find a link to our Discord server where you can join us, have a chat with us and keep us company. And on that note, goodbye from Jersey.
Bye.
Bye.
Boo Foons, mystery investigators.